Hello everyone, my name is Elijah Proctor, and today we're going to be talking about a bug that I found and fixed early in my React project before it turned into a larger issue. And so I created a simple book search feature using Open Library API. And so initially the app was set up so that we make API requests anytime the user typed in a letter into the search input. So if I typed in the word tests, it would make an API request for every single keystroke that was made. And so this can be very inefficient. If you're typing in a huge phrase like up from slavery, if I want to find this book title, that would be 15 API requests about. Also, let's say this request finished before or after this one, that means that these results would override these results. And so that's a race condition issue that can happen from this. And so let me quickly go through the code and how this works. So we have our query variable and then our results variable. Anytime the query value changes, which is what we're going to be using in our input field, it's going to make that API request to the Open Library API. As you can see, the query is what we're using. The query state is what we're using to make the request. And so this is bad, and so we're going to be using a new technique called debounce. So let's go to, we have a tab for the fix version of this. Let's clear our network tab. And so this code is almost exactly the same. We have our query variable and our results variable, except we're only going to make the API recall anytime this debounce query value changes. And so debounce is using this use debounce hook that we created above. How this works is that instead of changing every time the value changes, or making a stateful render every time the value changes, we're going to add a delay to half a second, so 500 milliseconds. So it's only going to change every 500 milliseconds, which is about the time frame it would take for a fast typer to type in a phrase into the search bar. And so let's say I wanted to type in the word up from slavery. Since I finished typing it in less than 500 seconds, it should only make one API request. And so catching this early on, helps me from reworking multiple components. I've done this. I've encountered this issue a couple times at work, since I'm primarily a React developer. And so if I have like built-in features like pagination or filtering, then trying to update this core search logic is a lot more difficult to do. And so this is a good example of how finding performance issues early in SDLC helps avoid technical debt and makes the code base a lot easier to scale. Thank you for listening. You guys have a nice day.